Okay everyone, welcome back to The Long Dark. You join me where we left off. We are in Trapper's Cabin and Steadfast Ranger, the May update has dropped. It has released. We have it installed. There's actually some pretty cool updates with this. The revolver is now in the game. It's a close quarters defensive weapon rather than hunting weapons. That's pretty cool. Hopefully we can find it and we'll talk a bit more about it when we do. A few other bits and pieces. The spraying system's been overhauled. There's a couple of extra drink items in the game. And the aiming system's also been overhauled. And there's also some improvised headgear, which we could have quite frankly done with a little bit earlier on. We can actually craft improvised kind of gloves and hats now in the crafting menu. We could have done with that. You basically just need cloth and a sewing kit, and we could have done with that a little bit earlier, but we've actually got a hat now, so we don't need to worry about it. And you can already see the effects of Steadfast Ranger. We have a spraying wrist. The whole spraying system has been completely overhauled. There's a new heads-up display item, a new graphic that just pops up to tell you when you're at risk. Something you're doing puts you at risk of a sprain, like you climb up a really steep slope or something like that. But also, if we are encumbered, we have an increased risk of random tripping. Now, we've all noticed this random tripping in the game before, where we just sort of randomly got a sprain, and I think that was probably when we were encumbered, or when we were sprinting, or when we were carrying too much, and that's what caused it to happen. A revolver cartridge, there's the other bit of evidence that there's new elements inside the game. I don't know where these things are going to probably just spawn randomly in the game world, so they may spawn into areas we've already been to, so we might just have to pop back and have a... Oh, there's another one actually. A quick look and just make sure that we don't miss anything. This is a place where you perhaps would expect the revolver to appear, but I can't see it, so hopefully we're not going to do something silly and just miss it when it's actually right in front of us. But yeah, let's get ourselves going though. I think I've jabbered on a bit long enough about it. I've written a massive little review just so that you can see that. My thoughts and views on the Steadfast Ranger update, so you can drop that on the Facebook page. If you down in the description below, there's a link to the Facebook page. Oh, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. Okay, let's get inside. There's a link to the Facebook page which will give you my thoughts on the entire thing. As it, by the time you see this video, it would have been a week or so, or a couple of weeks ago, that it appeared. So that's just to show how far behind we are. But it's pretty cool. This is the first time I've actually played the game with the update installed. So expect the unexpected. Obviously, first thing we've got to do is get out of here and get ourselves back to camp office. So I'm just going to sleep for a little bit, and then hopefully the weather will improve and we can get ourselves going back to camp office. Okay, so I've slept for a couple of hours. It's not perfect out here by any means, but it is not too bad. I can at least see where I'm going now, and it looks like it's getting clearer. So, and the temperature is pretty good, so let's get ourselves going. Now I'm going to take my usual route back to camp office. I'm going to be interested to see if this triggers the sprain gauge, if you like, the heads up display. It's gone nice and clear now, hasn't it? Perfect. If it triggers the sprain indicator at all, just to show that we're climbing too steep a slope. It's obvious the kind of pathways the game wants you to take, sort of that way. That actually takes us over towards the lookout, which we're going to be heading towards fairly soon. But we're pretty close to our... We were encumbered because we were fatigued. We're no longer fatigued because we slept for a couple of hours. That's also removed our sprain risk, by the way. But we are pretty close to our carrying limit, so there's no point heading straight to the lookout, because there we go, there's the gauge. You can see at the bottom left hand corner we're doing something that's going to increase our risk of sprains. Doesn't mean we're going to get one, it just increases our risk of getting one. Okay. Okay. Right, apparently we are at higher risk than we used to be, so we're going to have to be a little bit more careful, and you can already see the effects. So I need a bandage and I need painkillers. You can see actually the two effects that you can get. That kind of blurry edge effect is the pain, and the limp obviously is the just the sprain. So let's get that bandage on there. That will deal with that. And I think I have some painkillers, so I'm going to use those as well. So already we are falling foul. I've actually got plenty of painkillers. Let's use some of those. On my right foot. So already we are falling foul of this new system. We're going to have to be a lot more careful when we're on these steep slopes. Well, actually kind of everything that I'm doing is triggering it. I'm really going to have to rethink my pathways that I use to get between places, because a lot of the old ones that I've been using for a long time just aren't going to work anymore. If that's going to keep happening. Be a bit more careful. Okay, so let's make our way back down. Oh, again, there, we're on it again. We seem to be. It's just almost permanently on. These are routes I've been using for ever since I started playing the game, and all of a sudden they're not very safe. Okay, we're going to have to be a bit more careful, I think. We might have to take the more official route. Okay. Now we're a little bit further into our playthrough now. We're nearly 3 days in, so wolves are more likely to be around. So we just need to keep a sharper eye open as we head back to camp office. When I get back to camp office, I'm just going to do some housekeeping. Get outside. Oh, there's a wolf. There's a wolf. Okay, can we find a way past it? In fact, there's two. Suppose we should have foreseen that. This is a very popular area with wolves, shall we say. You do tend to see, again, climbing up this steep slope at risk of sprains. Just trying to avoid the wolves, and that's an age-old tactic that I've always used, is to go up the slide slopes. Maybe we're going to struggle to do that now. Just going to break a flare out so I've got something. One of them was a little bit further up this way. In fact, there it is. Without going up the steep slope, I'm really going to struggle to get past it. Again, we're not guaranteeing a sprain by coming up these slopes, but as you saw, it certainly is more likely to happen than it used to be. It's interesting because if you watch the video that came out with the update, it was described as you're less likely to get sprains, but the ones you do get, the reasons will be more obvious. I suspect in my case it's going to be more likely that I'm going to get them because of the routes that I take. Put me in these dangerous situations when they're likely to happen. You can see I'm taking a very high route. Very careful. I've kind of hit the point where I've kind of got to drop down. If I start sprinting now, I'm pretty much guaranteed a sprain. I should be right now. So there we go. As we've always said, particularly in the early stages of the game, avoidance is your best defense against wolves. I would say we avoided them pretty well there. Let's get ourselves inside. Okay, so we're back at camp office. Camp office is going to be my main base, certainly in the early stages of this playthrough. So let's get holsters. Let's just sort our first aid out because we're fairly close to the first aid cabinet. We're going to need, I think, to carry more painkillers than I traditionally have. So I'm going to remember that. I'm also going to just keep one emergency stim with me. Probably need another bandage or two. So I've got some cloth, so I'll probably strip that down into bandages. This drawer I'm going to use to store some of my crafting materials, so I'm going to store feathers in there. I won't store the cloth, normally I would, but I'm going to use it, so I won't store that. Lines and hooks, we shall store in there as well. Obviously we now have 2 different types of ammunition. So where am I going to keep my weapons? I think I'm going to keep... See, it just annoys me that you can't tidy these benches up, because I like to lay things out nicely. And I just can't do it. I'm going to keep my weapons over at the back here. Oh, there's a cooking pot there. That's really annoying. That was there the whole time and I never noticed. Okay, so let's drop these. I might actually move my fire starting stuff upstairs where I have 2. Okay, so the yellow boxes are revolver cartridges, and the red ones are rifle cartridges. So we've got 2 different types of ammunition now to think about. I'm not really carrying any more weapons. I have a spare can, and I have a spare lantern. So I'm going to drop the good one. We'll pop that. Well, I might, don't know where to put this stuff. I'll tell you what, let's pop it over here. I'll use this as my kind of useful stuff storage area, I think. And then another recycled can to add to our ridiculous collection. I've got a cooking pot down here then. I think what I might do, I've put a lot of fire starting material by this little stove. I think I'm actually going to, let's just grab some of this. I will leave some of it down here, but I'm going to take my cooking.
This pack is getting kind of heavy.
In fact, do I have 3 cooking pots? I do. Okay, that's fine. We'll leave one down here. And we'll put 2 up here. And I think I'm going to use this as my main stove, simply because it's got 2 cooking slots on it. So let's pop down my 2 cooking pots. These are big and heavy. I don't tend to carry them around. I tend to leave them in my base camp. And let's just drop some of those tinder plugs. 10 of them. And then just back up a little bit and drop books. And then we're starting to build up a little collection of fire starting material up here. That's also just on this table. We can drop some spare matches and a magnifying glass. And everything else I think we'll just hang on to for the moment. I've actually got quite a lot of firewood, so I might go and drop some of that. But if we just get rid of these matches and the magnifying glass, and then over here let's just drop. We're carrying a fair bit of firewood, so let's just drop all 7 of that fir. And we'll drop some of the sticks as well. And we're looking pretty good. Okay, so that's all the fire starting stuff sorted out. Don't know if there's anything else that I want to keep up here. Don't think there really is going to be. I haven't got anything spare clothing wise at the moment. Food, that's literally all I've got, so I'm pretty limited. I have got some tools and equipment, and we're going to drop all that downstairs, I think. I think normally in this series, as I think you've probably gathered from my other ones, when I'm doing the housekeeping, I'll just edit it out for you so you don't have to sit through watching the same thing time and time again, but for this first sort of proper sort through, we will leave it all intact. So we've got weapons building up over here, cooking and some fire starting stuff down here, and some more upstairs, and just general stuff and things around over here. So if I drop that, and if I drop that, probably don't need quite as many flares either. I'm going to drop one of those flares. So if I pop that there, lantern fuel, move the lantern and some fuel. Up the corner. Oops. Oh, what was the other thing I dropped? Simple tools. Yeah, we'll drop those back this way. There we go. Okay, so we're looking pretty good, I think. Food situation is not brilliant. I need to make some more water. And we need to think about where we are going to go next. So I think we're going to head to the lookout. What the time is it coming up to? It's coming up to darkness. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to make some water. And we'll get through the night. And then the following morning, I think we shall think about heading to the lookout. So we really are cooking along. So I'm going to head upstairs, I think, for this. And we're going to do some water. And I shall see you on the other side. Okay, so I have gone through the night. I've made myself a good 10 litres of water, so I've got loads of it stored over there. But I'm still carrying some with me so that we are all set and good to go for... I was on the right tab, wasn't it? To head over to the lookout. That's all the food I have with me. Not very much. That's literally all we have. At this point in the game. Food is the biggie. That's the one that's tricky to keep hold of in the long dark. It's always food. Water's easy. Food is trickier. So, let's get ourselves out there. See if we can get over to the lookout. Hopefully the weather's alright. That's what I'm kind of hoping anyway. Not too bad. Now the other thing is I've got to remember the way. Because obviously I remember the old lookout, which is now derelict. The original forestry lookout on Mystery Lake when the game first launched. That one's now derelict. This is a new one.
Ah, starving.
And I can't always remember the way up to it. Because I sort of remember it as it used to be, the old one, not this one. I never quite remember the way up there. So, if I get slightly lost, don't laugh too much. As we head over. So you can see I'm rattling through visiting these locations. And I kind of wanted to do that. I wanted to try and get in there fairly quick and sort of visit these locations pretty quickly so that we can build up our knowledge of the areas through map making, which, thinking about it, yeah, we probably need to do that. It's going to get a bit cold. There we go. Okay. We'll review that map later. We shouldn't get too much hypothermia risk from doing that.
God damn, it's freezing.
Okay, so I know I've got to go this way. This is where I tend to start getting lost. I'm pretty sure you kind of have to sort of head this way. Is it up here? Is this a way of getting to it? I think it's kind of over that little ridge there. Somewhere. And you kind of have to head up. And then you see like a pathway. Keep an eye on that spraying warning. Oh, dead dude. Okay. See if dead dude has anything interesting. Grab the feather. I always grab the feathers. I've never actually crafted bows and arrows. But, I always grab them. Okay, cool. So we've found the pathway. We're heading up towards the new forestry lookout. Gonna climb this mountain to get to the top. See if there's anything of interest up here. Well, obviously what I'm really hoping I'm going to find is either the revolver or the rifle. Now, this is where I wanted to talk a little bit about the revolver. Is that a rope drop? No, it's not. This is where I want to talk a little bit about the revolver, because the revolver is slightly different to the rifle. It's actually quite nice. They complement each other. So it's not a case of needing one or the other. You kind of need both for different purposes, or it's useful to have them both for different purposes. Obviously the rifle is your primary hunting weapon. That's what you can use for hunting. And it's designed to be like that. It's designed to be a ranged weapon, longer distance, high power, bring a deer down in one hit. The revolver is slightly different. The revolver is a defensive weapon. It's not designed to be used at long range. It's really designed to only work at short range. And it won't really bring an animal down, but it will scare it off. And that's kind of the idea. So the revolver is more of a sort of scare away the nasty vicious teeth, rather than take out the nasty vicious teeth or bring a deer down. So they really do complement each other, rather than sort of a case of either or. For different reasons, you kind of need them both, or benefit from having them both. Okay, I love the location. We're going to drop in there in a second. I love the location of the New Forestry Lookout, because you can really see pretty much the entire map. There's Carter Hydra Dam over there. We've got the little kind of log clearance area there. Obviously down below us is the rail line, and then we've got Camp Office. Mystery Lake is just over there in the distance, and then that's the route off to Fallow Muskeg. And over this way somewhere, you can just about make out Trapper's Cabin over there as well. So it's actually kind of really, really nice where they've put this. And there's the old original Forestry Lookout from the original game, the original version of the game, with a radio tower, which wasn't there originally, up on that hill. But this is the new Forestry Lookout, so let's get ourselves inside. Hopefully when we close the door it should warm up a bit. Yeah, all good. Okay, so no rifle. Certainly not on the holder anyway. We have a couple of cans and a can opener, which we hadn't got up to that point, so that's useful. A rifle cartridge. Some more tools. Sewing primer. Some newsprint. And in the first aid box,
Hope nobody needs this anymore.
Antiseptic. So, oh, and another hatchet. Spare hatchet. I'm not going to complain about a spare hatchet. And a pry bar. So we've got a few of our kind of crucial tools from this little jaunt. Before we head back down, I think I need to warm myself up. So if I can break down the bench, just get ourselves some reclaimed firewood from the various bits of furniture in here. Take the charcoal, as always. We'll go out and just do a little bit of map making outside in a sec. And let's just gonna make use of our fire striker and get ourselves a little fire going just to warm ourselves up here. I'm not going to bother making any water because I've got plenty of that. I'm just going to get a little fire going.
Come on, little fire. Come on.
This fire will just get us through, warm us back up properly before we head back down.
Perfect.
And also, of course, it gives us a bit of a boost to our fire starting skills. So I'm just going to drop all this reclaimed wood. I'm going to chuck it all on there. There we go. So that's going to give us some real heat. Let's get outside and just grab. I always do that. There we go. And we'll just do a little bit of surveying.
I'm so cold.
So you can see. There we are. Let's drop back inside then. Shut that door. Stand by the fire. Let's get our hypothermia risk all sorted out. So, yes, Steadfast Ranger has released. This is the first video I've done since that's come out. Obviously, the spraying system has been what's really featured in this one. We're going to have to be very, very careful moving forward that we don't keep getting caught out by that. I can see myself being literally tripped over by the spraying system quite a lot. But yeah, please check out the Facebook page. I've put a little bit of a write-up on there of what I think of Steadfast Ranger, and hopefully we can track down the revolver and we can see what some of the other bits and pieces. Obviously we can't test the aiming mechanic at the moment because we don't have any kind of weapon. I don't have the rifle either, but we've seen the pain and limping and the injuries sustained from sprains. We've seen all of that, so hopefully we can do all that good stuff There's some new drinks as well, which I can't remember if I mentioned. So we'll go through as we go along. We'll hopefully find all of that. But right now, thank you so much for joining me for another long dark. We're going to keep ourselves going. We are aiming for the long duration on this one. I'm going to make my way back down to Camp Office, so I'll probably join you there at the start of the next video. We're going to head over to Camp Office. And yes, we're going to go and see where else we can explore on Mystery Lake. Get ourselves building up. We're building ourselves up quite nicely. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Hit the like and subscribe buttons and check out the playlist for the other videos. And I shall see you again very, very soon.